Successful business owners don't wake up inspired every day. They don't feel creative all the time. They don't always feel confident. But what do they have? They have non negotiable habits, systems that run even when motivation doesn't. If you keep saying, "This week I'm locking in," but every week feels like a reset, you don't need a new strategy. You need sustainable business habits because starting over doesn't feel productive, but consistency is actually what pays. So, we are going to continue in our series today. We have been doing the 4 pillars of success. This is a series that I have been training to corporations, to individuals for the past 30 years. These 4 pillars of success are the foundation of which everything else you do in your business sits on. And that is focus, commitment, which we have already covered. And today is an integral piece, and that is consistency. Our last piece in this will be next week when we will talk about organization. This is one of my favorite trainings to do. So if you did not catch the first 2 of focus and commitment, I highly want to recommend, because these 4 are the 4 foundation or the 4 cornerstones of your success. All right, so let's talk about consistency. How do you get more consistent? Because I'm sure you've heard the saying, consistency is key, over and over again. And it truly is. It's doing the things that sometimes you don't just love, but are necessary. It is creating habits that you can look forward to doing. One of the things we want to do with consistency is we want to make it so mindless that we don't have to stop and think about it. When you wake up and hit the ground, you want to get to a point where you already know what to expect so that you're not having to think every single day, what do I need to do today? When you have to stop and think about what you're going to do each and every single day, it can be fatiguing. It can become overwhelming. Then you can just decide, I don't feel like doing anything. So what happens is feelings start to take over the actions. And if we allow our feelings to dictate everything that we do every day, well, you're probably not going to get as much done as what you'd really like. Because let's face it, every single one of us are going to have a bad day. Every single one of us are going to have days where we're tired or we just don't feel like doing it. But if we already have a set, consistent schedule that we adhere to on a pretty regular basis, if we have habits, if we have routines already in place, then you're going to go into automation mode. So that is going to be important. So let's start with some of the key ingredients in order to achieve consistency. Decide your non-negotiables. So have a set schedule. I am a huge proponent of having a set schedule, to the degree of where I have been doing this for like 35 years. So, and they've changed. So this is important to recognize. You can change the schedule at any particular time, or if your business has changed, or you're doing things a little bit differently. But I used to have, this is Monday through Friday, and this is what I did. And this is what I did on Monday mornings. So I used to lead a team. So on Monday mornings, I did coaching calls. On Monday afternoons, I put together a training presentation. We had meetings. On Tuesdays, I would do calls with my team. So teaching them, doing role playing, teaching them how to better sell, how to better close, how to do effective presentation skills. And then I did coaching calls or projection calls with my leaders on Tuesday afternoons. So that was many, 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 many moons ago. Then when I became a speaker and I was doing business consulting, I liked doing a company had a particular day. So that whole day was sort of designated to that company. So when I woke up, I knew exactly what I was doing. I did that with my podcast, and we'll talk more about that as we get into doing this. So decide what your non-negotiables are. Have a schedule. 2 to 3 daily actions that you're going to do no matter what. So those are your non-negotiables. No matter what, I will do this today. Maybe it's make 10 phone calls. Maybe it's record 5 videos. Maybe it's whatever that looks like. These are my non-negotiables, and I'm going to do 2 to 3 daily activities that I do no matter what. Keep them small but impactful. So meaning everything doesn't have to be stupendous. That's the biggest problem that people have in business is it's the small mundane tasks that they think don't matter, that things have to be stupendous. They have to be earth shattering. They have to be breaking news. And guess what? It is in the small, consistent habits. It's showing up and doing the work that is going to get you across the finish line. It truly is. So I know sometimes that's hard to believe because the other creates the adrenaline, it creates the rush. But if we can just learn to fall into consistency, you're going to be the winner. So keep that in mind. 30 minutes outreach, one piece of content, 20 minutes of skill building. Consistency comes from clarity. If everything is important, nothing is consistent. So these are just things to keep in mind on your non-negotiables. Number 2, reduce friction. So what causes you to not get things done? What causes you to feel stress? What causes you to get hung up in a day? Remove that as much as you humanly possibly can. So these are simple things, but like set up your environment to make the habit easy. So being organized, which is one of the next 4 pillars that we're going to talk about, is going to make a huge impact on how easy it is and how much time you save doing these consistent endeavors. Make sure that your laptop is open and ready to the right tab of where you want to work. If you want to work out, put your gym clothes on. You know, one of the things, especially since I've been doing so much online training, is like right now, I have on my leggings, my work clothes on the bottom, and I have on the tops that I'm changing on top. But my t-shirt is also in here so that when I'm done, I'm going to throw that on because I will end up doing my workout. I almost always do my workout at 5 o'clock. It works for me. I actually have more energy at that time. A lot of people, it doesn't. You got to find your time. But if I don't have the majority of my workout clothes on, I'm not likely to do it, but have them set out at least. Content online is prepared the night before, having a content calendar so it makes it easy so that you know what you're training on or what you're going to talk about. And make starting effortless. So oftentimes the getting started is the hardest part of all. So make starting effortless. All right, same time, same trigger, habit stacking. I am a big proponent of this, that I do this at this same time. Now, there are 2 different things that you can lean into this. There is time blocking and time batching. These are 2 different strategies that will help you with your consistency. So let's talk about time blocking first. Time blocking is where you set aside a specific time, either every day or 3 days a week or 4 days a week, whatever is working for you, and depending on the thing. So you're going to set aside that time. So you might block 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. This is when I do X. And when you block that time, so this is being proactive versus reactive. And a lot of people run their businesses on a reactive measure. So that means I'll just keep working along, whatever happens I'm doing, and then they never get the main thing done, or the things that are going to grow their business, the things that are going to move their business forward. And then they end up saying, I never have time for that. Like the one thing I hear from everyone is I have no time to do customer care. And yet, customer care is the thing that will grow your business almost more than anything else. And people always say, I don't have time to do that. I just don't have the time to do it. But if you carved out a time and you dedicated either 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour to that subject 3 times a week, you would move your business forward. So that's time blocking, where I set aside a specific time in my schedule, every day or 3 days, 4 days a week that I'm going to do no matter what, because these are my income producing activities. The other thing is stacking habits. So when I always do this, if I want to add a new habit in, I add it to that routine. So that now I'm going to add this in so that every time I do this, I'm always going to do this too. That's a good way to add in a new habit or add in something to your routine. Now, what is the difference between time blocking and time batching? So I'll give you a really good example of this. I've had my podcast now on hiatus for almost 2 years, but prior to that, we did almost 750 episodes. So we had a serious podcast. It was in the top 1%. It did very well. And I just got to decide if I'm going to bring that back or not, or how I'm going to do that. But anyway, that's what we did. So when I first started the podcast, I thought, okay, I need to do like 3 interviews a week. And so I will make available 2 people Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. And it was at 1, 2, or 3 o'clock. So basically now I am using up, because I can't schedule anything else in there, I am using up Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And I'm trying to get 3 1-hour interviews. We would usually interview for an hour, edit it down to it was 30 to 40 minutes, and that would be the podcast. So what I found is this is a huge waste of my time. So I decided that Tuesday was podcast day, period. And so I made available to every single person that agreed to be on my show that they could interview on Tuesdays at either 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, or 3 o'clock. And most of the time, every slot was taken. So almost every single Tuesday, I had interviews on 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. Now, what this did was amazing, because now I had Wednesday and Thursday completely free to do other things in my business. And when I woke up and my feet hit the ground, I knew it was podcast day. And I started getting my mind set for podcast day. The first thing I did is I got my coffee and I would sit down and I would say, who's on the docket for today? Let me do a review. Let me pull their file that I have. Let me look at we presented them with questions ahead of time and we had some answers so that at least I could lead them, right? And I did that on purpose. Some people didn't like that, but it saved me and them so many times I can't even begin to tell you. And so then any information that I had on them from the internet, if I had read a book about theirs, my notes that I had taken, whatever was the case, I would pull that out and review it. Because oftentimes, if they had like a book and I might have read it 3 months earlier and made notes on it, and so I need to review that. I need to refresh my memory on that. So that's what I would do. Now, why did having the questions ahead of time work out so well? Because a lot of times people would get on there and you'd ask them a question, and they would answer with 1-word answers. And so as a good interviewer, you want to draw things out of people. And sometimes I would look down at their answer and they wouldn't even be saying it. It would be a brilliant answer that obviously they had typed out when they had time to think about it and they weren't nervous or whatever the case may be. And I'd say, well, I know in our pre-interview we talked about this and you had mentioned blah, blah, blah. And they would go, oh, yes. And then they would just start going off and telling that part of the story or telling that part of the interview. So it was always good for me to have that in front of me. So I would get prepared. Then I would have lunch so to make sure that I had eaten and I wouldn't be starving. And then I would come up here into my studio and I would record 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 3 o'clock. And usually it took about 45 minutes to record, in all honesty. And so then I would have 15 minutes to go to the bathroom or get some water, do whatever, and then finish. And then at 3 o'clock I'd be done. And then typically I would I'd finish up some things here, make some notes, whatever I needed to do. And then I'd go start my workout at 4 o'clock or still be ready to do my workout at 5 o'clock. And that was my Tuesday. And it didn't ever deviate, and I knew. So that's time batching. It's where you only think about, like I said, that one company, that was their day. This is my podcasting day. This is the day I do my social media posts and reels. This is the day I do X. So time batching is where anything that you need to do about that one subject goes into a day, and that makes it more efficient for you. And your mind will be prepared for that the minute you wake up and you're not things don't fall through the cracks as easily. So that's time batching. All right, next is track what you do, not just results. So many people just track their results, and if they're not getting good results, then they start to feel like this isn't mattering. But start to track how many calls you made in a day. If you made 10 calls and you only talked to one person, that's okay. Now I know that it's going to, in order to try to probably get 2 people, I'm going to need to make 20 calls. And so you start to learn, out of this many calls, how many people got back with me? Out of this, how many closings did I have? Like, how did that result into turning into some form of work or whatever the case may be? You don't learn any of these analytics if you're not tracking what you're doing, not just results. And a lot of people only track results. So, minimum visible standard. So have that this is what I am going to do. So like here's what I want to do. I would love to do a 50-minute workout, but no matter what, here's my minimum. I'm going to get 10 minutes in no matter what. So have a minimum standard that you are going to get in no matter what. One of the things I teach is a program called the Power Hour. We're going to do a whole session on it. I've been teaching it forever, and I've trained it to every industry that you can imagine. But we teach about 15-minute increments, 15 minutes to change your day, 15 minutes to change your life. And so I always say minimal is 15 minutes. If you can work on it for 30 minutes, great. If you can do it for 45 minutes, that's great. But you're going to do it for 15 because anybody can do anything for 15 minutes. And you've got, within a 24-hour period of time, you got 96 opportunities, 96 of those 15-minute increments. So we can do lots of things. If you have like, this is the minimum, I'm going to do it for 15 minutes no matter what. I'm never going to miss this, like workouts. So sometimes you just have a day where you don't feel like working out. Maybe you don't feel well. But I'll tell you the hardest thing about working out is if you miss a day and then you miss a day, all you need to do is miss 7 days and you will never do it again. Like it will take forever for you to get back into your routine. So have a non-negotiable or the minimum standard where you say, no matter what, I can't miss more than 2 days in a row, no matter what. That's what I carry with me now. And so if I miss 2 days in a row, then it is like, okay, day 3 is do or die. Like we're on it because there is no missing 3 days in a row because I know me. If you miss 7, and this is actually most people, you'll start not doing it at all. It only takes about 7 days. It takes 3 weeks to establish a habit and only 7 days to get out of one. Like that's crazy. It's actually crazy. So have your non-negotiables. I'm not going to miss more than 2 days, no matter what. So that's one way to kind of have those lines in the sand. So have a minimum standard. Build your identity, not just goals. So what I mean by that is the story you tell yourself is the one you will believe. So you need to build your identity. I am strong. I am really smart. I am really good at this. If there are things that you are not so good at, do not tell yourself that you are not good at them. So one of the things for years, I felt like I wasn't a very organized person. And I would say, oh, I'm pretty disorganized. And so I quit saying that. And I would say, I am working on being better at organization. And eventually I got really good at it. And I started teaching it and teaching people how to be better organized because I had actually figured it out throughout being this disorganized person. As of late, I said so often, technology is not my friend. I struggle with technology. And now I say, you know what? Technology isn't something that I knew for years and years and years. I didn't grow up with technology, but I'm embracing it and I'm learning what I can every day. That is good for me to say to people. And it's also good for me to say to myself that, yeah, this isn't something that comes natural to me. I did not grow up with technology, but it is a must do and a must know. And so I've got to embrace it and quit telling myself it is not my friend. That's what I said for 2-3 years. Like, oh, technology is not my friend. Well, it never became my friend until I changed my dialogue. And so when you change the dialogue that you tell yourself, the story you tell yourself is the one you're going to believe. 5 more people can tell you that, wow, you actually are pretty good at this. And if you tell yourself every day that you're not good at it, who's the person you will believe? Yourself. So make sure you're getting and building an identity at the same time that you are trying to build and grow your business. That's going to help you with the consistency. The next one is schedule those big time blocks. We've already talked about this. I kind of put it in a different category, but time blocking, time batching. So big sections of time. I usually like to schedule my days, like my mornings, my afternoons, my early evenings. I do a lot of work with people in Australia. And so I usually on certain nights, only on certain nights, I know that I'm going to be working at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, and that's okay. And so I do, and I set it, and then I don't have to get up early the very next morning if I'm working till 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. I try to make sure that I'm prepared mentally for the nights that I'm going to do that. So that can be helpful to you. Review weekly. So if you want to be consistent, review weekly what's working, what isn't. We've talked about, adjusting, reflect and adjust. That's a big thing about what we talk about on Sundays, but it is important. Remove decision fatigue as much as possible. Decision fatigue is a real thing. When you have to think about what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, what you're going to work on today, what things can you eliminate? What things can you eliminate that you don't have to make any decisions on? By having a routine that you do every Monday, I do this every Tuesday, I do this every Wednesday, I do this every Thursday, even in doing this YouTube channel, because I know me. And so if I was trying to come up with a topic or an idea, it was like, okay, we're going to make Mondays this. We'll make Tuesdays business tips. We'll make Wednesdays, we'll talk about money. Thursdays will be more of my story and sharing something that's on my mind and something that's on my heart. And Friday is going to be about health. So now when I'm doing my content calendar, I just think about what I'm doing. And when I go to talk about it, I know what Fridays are. I know what Tuesdays are. So it can get me in that mindset as well. I do batching with this also, in that it took me a little while to find my routine and to find my rhythm, but I've learned my rhythm for doing these videos as well and learning the batching on that. It took me a minute, but not very long, because I've been doing it my whole life. I just had to find my routine for this new platform that I was doing. So I have, and now I've kind of got it into a flow, and it's become easier. And hopefully that'll continue, and then we'll continue to grow. That would be lovely. All right. Focus on the process versus your mood. This is where people lose consistency. If you're being just consistent to where this is the process, this is what I do, these are my systems. There's two key things here in consistency. There's schedules and systems. Schedule is the time frame in which you do it, and the systems are the things that you do. So what systems do you have in place for your business? Like for customer care, what's the system? For onboarding new customers, what is your system? What is your system for doing your YouTube channel? What's your system for doing your social media content calendar? What systems do you have that you already know? It's step 1, 2, 3, and I do this again and again. So the systems are the things you do. The schedule is the time frame which you block to do them in. If you do those two things, you're going to have a successful business. It's kind of that. I know it sounds so simple, but it is. It's that simple. So focus on those processes versus what mood you're in. I get so tired when I talk to people that go, I'm just not feeling it today. What do you mean you're not feeling it? It's Monday. What do you normally do on Mondays? Like, if you can get over about how you're feeling, if you let feelings dictate how you show up and how you do your work, it's going to be hit or miss. We all have all kinds of feelings. So we have to get past that. And you do that by creating more of routines, systems, and schedules and habits that allow you to not let your mood get in the way of what you know you need to get done. It's kind of that simple again. And then closing, we just want to reinforce consistency isn't personality based. Consistency is activity based. Consistency doesn't have to be exciting and exhilarating all the time. It's the mundane tasks that move you across the finish line. If I could express on you that, the mundane tasks that you're going to do regularly that are going to move you across the finish line. Success compounds quietly. We're not always looking for those big, huge wins, that we'll have them, but success compounds quietly over a period of time with consistent behaviors that allow you to see success. As much as I would love for this YouTube channel to be a success overnight, I know that that's not realistic. And what I do know is rewarded is consistency. We have grown each week that we've done this, not by huge leaps and bounds, but I'm figuring it out too, because I'm also, watching different courses, learning different things. It's brand new. I could have waited and done all of that before I dove in, and that's what my inclination was doing. That's where my perfectionism kicks in. But I decided, nope, I'm just going to do it. We'll learn as we go. We'll adjust as we go, and we'll make it better as we go. And the great thing about YouTube is your videos do live on, and people will go back and watch other videos. It is a compound effect. So there's a lot of things in your business that have a compound effect. But that's one thing I keep hearing from every single YouTuber that trains is this is compounded over time. So don't get impatient. Don't quit. It's consistency is going to be the thing that takes you across the finish line. So I'm like, okay, I know that that pillar of success. So I just have to lean into it right now and not get impatient. So I just want to encourage you to think about these things. What can you change, or what can you do that could become more routine? What can you do to add to your schedule, and what kinds of systems might you need to create to put in place? And what can you do to eliminate decision fatigue? What things can be just really easy for you so that you don't have to think about it? So thanks, everyone. Don't forget to subscribe. Invite your friends here. I would love that too. Like, that's going to make a difference. Please comment on some of the things I'm asking you, like, what are your non-negotiables? What systems do you need to get into place? I will comment back, I promise. And let's grow this thing together. You can be part of the success story, and I would appreciate that so very, very much. If you really liked what you heard today and you think someone else can benefit from it, don't forget to share as well. Thanks so much, and we'll see you tomorrow.